Alright everyone, it's time for your daily cringe, and yeah, of course it's Budweiser, yet again. They released a new ad the other day. The ratio is not looking so good. They're once again getting ridiculed constantly for this. Link in the description. Not going to bother to archive it because, they may take it down, but the ad will still be up forever. Their latest ad features a summer scene. It's got no political overtones whatsoever. Happy groups of people outside trying to enjoy stereotypical summer festivities such as getting tangled in a hammock, eating a watermelon, or grilling. And of course everything is fucking going wrong. The man can't crawl into the hammock because he doesn't apparently have the intelligence to understand how to use one. Eating a watermelon is more difficult in the middle of a storm, and the road is so hot you have to climb up on top of your Budweiser-filled cooler. Okay, fairly straightforward ad. It's just a regular old Budweiser ad. It's the sort that you would get pre-Dylan Mulvaney. See, and there's the problem. The ad that they've released in and of itself is perfectly fine. It's just a normal Budweiser ad. Hey, it's hot out. Crack open a cool one from Budweiser. You can get a huge rebate on it, so basically it's like paying 1990s prices at the moment to get Bud Light. Well, there are advantages to selling out and drinking their piss beer, I suppose, if you're into beer at all. And again, other than some microbrews, beer really isn't. It's certainly not been my thing generally. I did drink Bud Light for a while, but not like as routinely, because I was always more into wine when I was, hammering it down in the past. Beer is not really my forte because it doesn't really have a nice taste. Yes, hot day, you've got chilled beer. It can be refreshing, but so is water. So it doesn't really make any sense. Bud Light is so weak, it's like basically you took a fermented piece of bread, dipped it like a tea bag a few times into some carbonated water, and then you called it a beer. That's basically what Bud Light tastes like. And keep in mind, Bud Light's one of the more palatable light beers that's out there. The problem with the ad is not that it's mildly cringy, because it is. It's why it's cringy. It's the fact that Budweiser has not simply come out and explained itself to people other than to make excuses and to then go radio silent for a while and then release another ad pretending that nothing had happened. The boycott of Budweiser is still ongoing. Now, unfortunately, that means people have just switched to other woke piss beers by and large anyway. If that market share were to go to microbrews, if they were buying something like Long Trail Ale or something, well, small beer brewers and regional brands would definitely be really, really happy. They've been directed to Coors and Millers and other piss beers instead. Buy local, dude. Higher quality product. Yeah, you pay a couple cents more per beer. Who fucking cares? It's basically just poison anyway. You're paying to poison yourself just so that we're aware of the reality of the situation. Putting out the ad, and again, making it very normal, old school Budweiser ad, hot summer, here's some humor, haha, crack open a cool one. It doesn't work when you haven't apologized to people. Not once has Budweiser come out simply said, okay, you know what, we self-owned, we really apologize and would appreciate if you drank our piss instead of our competitors' piss because we're losing money. That's the long and short of it. We're sorry that we decided that our U.S. base, which is the largest one for Budweiser specifically as a sub-brand of InBev anyway. We're sorry that we alienated a bunch of people who probably wear MAGA hats and live they live in the burbs or in Appalachia or something. The stereotype of who would drink our beer is not entirely true, but it is true-ish in many parts of the country. And we decided to take a cross-dressing TikTok user and make them a brand ambassador. And they proceeded to make several clips of themselves pretending to enjoy Budweiser and not just appreciating the fact that they were going to make a boatload of money from the likely sponsorship to come. They would have gone further if it not for the boycotts, by the way, just to be clear with Dylan Mulvaney. And the fact is, the average person who is a regular drinker of Budweiser, and regular drinkers make up most of the market. It isn't people that bought a six-pack maybe in the last month. It's people who drink every weekend or drink every day. That's the core of alcohol sales. It's the same, by the way, for fast food. Have you ever seen Super Size Me? Back then, Morgan Spurlock, he talked about that and how a handful of people, a very small proportion of people that eat at your restaurant are eating most of the food. They're the ones that eat there every day. It's terrible for them, but for some reason they're still alive usually. Much like with beer, you are slowly killing off the people that are the main consumers of your product. Tobacco's about the same. Tobacco sales aren't mainly to people who aren't addicted and who just socially smoke. They're to people who smoke a pack a day. Wonderful for them. Again, another example of killing off your customer base. Budweiser has stubbornly refused to simply acknowledge this and pledge to people to move on and say, look, we realize that we pissed off a good 25-30% of our entire demographic as far as our beer goes. We're sorry. Just say sorry. Don't pretend that nothing has happened and put out another ad, because the ad would have been reasonable under any other circumstances. Little bit of humor. It's well edited. There's nothing wrong with it specifically. It's a perfectly acceptable ad for your piss beer. But you're not doing it at the right time, and you spent a bunch of money on the ad. You're getting ratioed again. Again, take a look at the fucking Twitter replies. Is there anything positive there? It's like a 10-to-1 ratio of people saying to fuck yourself. You've reopened the same wound by even making an ad in the first place. Because there's no closure for people who have spent months ridiculing you and not drinking your beer, in some cases people who had before, because you have not been capable of addressing the situation, just go silent. If you're not willing to apologize, I don't give a shit about Dylan Mulvaney or Budweiser because I don't drink beer. But for your core audience, for branding purposes, for restoring at least some semblance of dignity, either apologize and move on, that's fine, or don't move on, be stubborn, plant your feet, and just ignore everything. Don't even put out any ads. It's not like there's a person in the world that doesn't know what Budlight is anyway. Budlight's one of the most ubiquitous names in all of the brewing industry. You don't even need to put out ads. Remind people Budweiser exists. If they're going to the beer aisle, I'm sure that they've noticed those blue cans. I don't even know why companies at that point putting out an ad is risky, because you might alienate someone by even doing it. You have a lot of cancel culture. You can alienate the left. You have now burgeoning boycotts by more right-leaning groups. Now's a dangerous time to advertise yourself at all if you've already got a dominant market share. So, once again, they can't not sell phone. It's impossible for them to avoid it, it seems, at this point. And it's literally impossible for them not to sell phone until they take one of those steps. Either be silent so you can't sell phone, or address the situation directly for your branded market audience. That's about all. Peace out.